This is The Last Judgment, a monumental tapestry that is the centerpiece of our current special exhibition From the Vault, collecting tapestries at the Worcester Art Museum. This tapestry was produced between 1500 and 1505 and entered the permanent collection of WAM in 1935. I'm Delaney Keenan, Assistant Curator of European Art here at WAM. Join me to learn more about this incredible tapestry in our collection. The Last Judgment is the final scene in the story of the redemption of mankind. It was a set of tapestries, 10 of them, that tell this story, and this would be the culmination. And here, Christ seated in majesty in the center of the composition, flanked by the Virgin Mary cloaked in blue, and St. John the Baptist in green, surrounded by his apostles, is now about to enter the final judgment on all souls who've ever lived. On this side, we have the blessed, or the good, and on the right of the composition, the damned. The design of this tapestry is today attributed to the artist Delaney Keenan, a painter active in Brussels and Antwerp who made monumental altarpieces and usually painted in oil. He likely created the cartoon or original design, the drawing for this composition, that was then given to a workshop of weavers to be able to translate from design to cartoon to final woven product. That's part of why this tapestry is considered to be something that would have been undertaken over a period of likely 5 years of time. There are 8 versions of the series, The Redemption of Mankind, that we know were woven. None of them exist in their entirety today, but various panels exist of the tapestry composition in various collections around the world. There are 3 known extant versions of The Last Judgment, this one here in Worcester, one in Paris, and one in Rome. It's really fascinating to me that each of the different versions had slight variations, sometimes in facial expression, depictions of hair, or fabric. This one here at WAM is quite special. It was known to have been kind of right after its making in the early 16th century in the collection of the King of Portugal. It then went to another noble family in Portugal and stayed in that country really until about 1900, in which it entered the Parisian art market, eventually being sold in New York by French & Company, a very important dealer of tapestries, furniture, and fine arts. In 1935, the director of the museum, Francis Henry Taylor, was able to purchase this work. And for him, it was quite a monumental moment. It was really the culmination of this idea and vision he had about expanding the Worcester Art Museum. In 1933, when they added the Renaissance court, the director then writes that he wants to acquire a world-class example of late Gothic or early Renaissance tapestry to adorn that courtyard and serve as its kind of finishing piece. And he was able to fulfill that mission in 1935 with the purchase of this tapestry. It was on view almost continuously for 55 years, from 1935 through 1990. And we know that people cared a lot about this work and also thought early on about its preservation and conservation. There was a schedule established for when the tapestry would actually be unveiled for the public to see it and when it would be covered to prevent light exposure. Some of my favorite details in this tapestry include the depictions of jewels, adornments, jewelry, gold, and of course the fabric within this piece of fabric. You can see the dresses are immensely detailed. The folds in the fabric is also quite typical, I would say, of artistic styles and even painting in circa 1500, the moment in which this was made. Thinking about depth and perspective around that moment in both painting and drawing then translates to tapestry weaving in this moment. And you can see when you get close, there's so many little details. You can even see individual strands of hair in some of these figures. And something that also stands out is, of course, the color palette here. I would say this palette of these reds, blues, and greens is quite typical also of tapestries of circa 1500. And you could see that manifested throughout the tapestry in clothing, the details of the angel's wings, for example, but also in the vegetation that occupies the bottom kind of registrar of this tapestry. And I think the inclusion of this vegetation, these floral elements, really does connect also to the popularity of depicting flowers and vegetation in tapestries. Of course, most famously in the mille-fleur tapestry type, in which the entire background of a tapestry would be occupied with vegetation. And here you can see some really beautiful details of little blue and red flowers, including even some strawberries here in this passage. You'll see that in the bottom corners of the tapestry are scrolls. The one on this corner reads, "The Lord will enter judgment," from Isaiah book 3, verse 14. Also on this side of the tapestry with the damned, you can see these diabolical monsters or demons. And they're fascinating figures, and you can see them, these kind of fantastical beasts in this quadrant of the tapestry. Another fascinating piece of cloth in this tapestry is this depiction of this red fabric with dense folds that angels are utilizing to lift souls to heaven, the blessed who are being saved. This palette is quite stunning today, in part because this tapestry we are very, very fortunate to have conserved at DeWitt Royal Manufacturers of Tapestry in Belgium from 2013 to 2015. So of course this tapestry is one we care so deeply about, but after many years of display, in 1990 when it was taken off of permanent view, it needed cleaning, it needed some conservation treatment to best preserve it for the next generation, and really brought it back to its immense splendor for folks to see here today in Worcester. And of course, our kind of understanding of modern conservation standards has also changed since when we first acquired this work. We were always worried about exposure to light, but I think that came into further kind of clarity in the past 2 decades. And this tapestry is no longer on permanent view. So coming to see it in this exhibition is really a special opportunity to actually see this object that is one of maybe legend and lore in the city of Worcester on view yet again for our public audiences to see. And of course, everyone wants to know how we got this monumental tapestry up on the wall. Well, it took a team of 12 people, including art handlers, conservators, registrars, and curators, to get this up on the wall using an elaborate pulley system. Take advantage of this once-in-a-generation opportunity to come face-to-face with the Last Judgment. This exhibition is on view through July 27th, 2025. Also, follow us on social media for more as we explore our tapestry collection this summer here in Worcester.